Scholars, I'm Mrs. EK, and today we are going to write sentences. Today we are going to change words that are in their singular form into their plural form. Let's talk about that a little bit. So singular, if a word is in its singular form, it means that it is just saying that there is one of that thing. For an example, like finger. That's a singular form of that word, and it's just talking about one. So if you were just talking about one finger, oh, I hurt my finger, you would use this form, singular form of that word. But if I wanted to talk about more than one finger, I would have to change that word, and I would have to change it into its plural form, okay? And that would just mean more than one. It could mean 2 fingers, it could mean 10 fingers, right? The way I change that is by adding an S at the end. With some words, sometimes you have to add ES or change the Y to I and then add ES. But the words we're going to work with today, they are multisyllabic, more than one syllable, and they will only be needing an S in order to make it plural, okay? All right, so for an example, remember that word finger. I want to make it plural in order to make a sentence to talk about more than one finger. So I have monkeys have 5 fingers. That doesn't make sense, right? They have 5 fingers, and I have to add the S to make it plural. So monkeys have 5 fingers on each hand like humans. Do you notice any other words in this sentence that are also plural? They end with an S and they mean more than one. You see the S in monkeys? It's talking about more than one monkey, right? Yes. So monkeys have 5 fingers on each hand like humans. Humans also ends with an S, you're right. And it's just talking about more than one. All right, scholars, we have a word bank today. Make sure you have your paper and pencil handy. We are going to be writing. All right, scholars, let's go ahead and read the words that are in our word box. We have material, building, layer, and measurement. Nice work. All right, we are going to change these words from their singular form into their plural form. All right, so some of these words could be verbs, but we are going to make sure that they are nouns because we are changing them to plural, meaning more than one. Okay, so if we were to say we're going to write a sentence about material, well, we want to talk about more than one material. We want to talk about materials, right? So we are going to add that S at the end. Nice work. So if I add an S at the end of material, I now have materials. So now we can make a sentence about materials. Artifacts, art, effects, can be made from different materials. So as you notice, here's our word, materials. As you notice, our theme is going to be about archaeology. So when I make up my sentences with these words, I'm going to theme them around the theme of archaeology. So in archaeology, you could find artifacts, also plural, and those artifacts could be made out of different materials, right? All right, so now we are going to move to our next sentence. I'm going to need your help. All right, here's our word, singular form, building. If I want to talk about more than one building, I need to do what to the word? Change it to its plural form. What am I going to add at the end of my word? An S. Now remember, build, you could build something and that would be a verb. But we're talking about a plural form of something, so we're talking about the noun, the thing, right? So it could be a building or it could be buildings, right? So we're talking about more than one building. All right, so if we're thinking about studying the past, an archaeologist may have visited many places in order to find what they're looking for, right? So maybe they have visited many buildings, right? And those could be present or past, right? Like museums. So as an archaeologist, we could say, we have visited, or I have visited many buildings looking for what? What could we be looking for? Okay. I have visited many buildings. And that's our word here. All right, let's keep going. Our next word is layer. Okay, so let's think about that word layer. You could layer a cake, right? That would be a verb. Or we could talk about how many layers are in the cake, right? The thing. And so if we want to talk about more than one layer, and I've already said it, we are going to add that S at the end and change it to layers, layers. Okay, so if we are an archaeologist, if we are writing this sentence as an archaeologist, and we know that they dig up things from the past, right? Fossils and treasures and artifacts. Maybe they dig through many what? Many layers of the ground, right? Let's see if we can write that into a sentence. So, I dig through many layers, right? That would work. Sentence 3. I dig through many layers. I'm going to underline the word that we used out of our bank. All right, scholars, we have one more word in our word bank that is singular still, and we need to change it to plural. The word is measurement. What are we going to do to this word to change it to a plural word? We're going to add an S at the end. Nice. So now it is measurements. As an archaeologist, we might take measurements of what? Ooh, fossils. That's a good one, right? Take measurements of fossils. So you might take many measurements or lots of measurements on one fossil, right? Might see how long it is, how round it is, how thick it is. Yes. Okay, so let's use that. So I took lots of measurements. I took lots of measurements of the fossil I found. Nice. Period. All right, awesome work, scholars. So we have changed words from their singular form, meaning when they're only talking about one thing, and we have changed them to their plural form by adding an S. Plural words mean more than one. So in our sentences, we have made those words plural to talk about more than one thing. Let's go ahead and reread our sentences that we wrote. All right. Artifacts can be made from different materials, more than one material. Number 2, I have visited many buildings. You have visited more than one building. Number 3, I dig through many layers. How many layers? We don't know, but there was more than one, right? Digging through the ground. And number 4, I took lots of measurements of the fossil I found. Remember that as you read and as you write, if you are talking about more than one thing, that is its plural form, and it will often end in an S, a ES, or an IES.
This program is made possible in part by the Michigan Department of Education, the State of Michigan, and the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Additional support by viewers like you. Thank you.